Hi, it's Nico here. Welcome to a new video. Hope you are doing well. Today, I'm going to walk you through how I personally format first names and company names for my cold email campaigns at scale and pretty much automatically, so it doesn't take a lot of time. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So here I have some sample data. So yeah, sample lead list, I have made a few changes here and there to give you context for the biggest things I try to do with my formatting. So yeah, let's just download this. And we will use Clay to format everything. So let's create a new table. And let's import. And let's do that. Alrighty, so now we have our rows in Clay. Oh, can I delete this? Okay, whatever. We just keep the up row there. So the first thing I will always do is format first names and last names. And this video basically walks you through how to format first name, last name, and also the company name. So let's do add enrichment. Then you wanna use Clay's internal normalize first and last names. And then the value will be first name, then last name, and then it will run. Okay, so yeah, now we will have normalized first name and also last name. Actually, let me move my computer there. And as you can see, what this will do basically is format names from all caps to not all caps. So sometimes when you pull data from LinkedIn or Apollo or whatever source you are using, some names will be at all caps. And of course, you don't want to send cold emails like that. So this formula here will format those to normal. And then last name is fine. So I don't typically use last name with my cold emails anyway, so this doesn't really matter. So typically how I do it is that I will rename this. And this will be edited first name. And there is still an issue with this because again, sometimes when you pull data from LinkedIn or Apollo, there might be names where there is only one letter. And this Clay's internal formula doesn't solve those issues. So what I typically do is that I create a new column using a formula, and then I will type this thing here. So get the value. Then we will put this edited first name. And then if the value in So basically what this does is that it will get the value from this edited first name, and but if the value is less than 2 characters, so it will have this 1 character value, then it will replace that with an empty value. So let's double check this works correctly. Let's try it. Something went wrong. Let me check. Oops, I had that wrong there. So okay, now it should work. Okay, cool. So yeah, sorry, my mistake. So yeah, now you can see that if the value has only 1 character, then it will delete those and those will be empty. So this will basically be the final first name that I will use inside the campaign. And if the value or the contact doesn't have the first name, then usually with creating, I will use a fallback. So then if the value don't have the first name, the greeting will look like just this. And then if it will have the first name, normally it will be like that. So that's how I do it. And that's the first name. Then for company names, so this is the biggest one. So company name formatting is really annoying if you don't automate that, and it is pretty important. So we will first use place internal feature. So normalize company name, this one. And we will normalize case. And yeah, actually you don't need this column here. So there's the normalized company name. And that's that. The one issue with this is that it will correct most of the names, but sometimes there are really long company names. So for example, here in the sheet, there are a few of these really long company names, these ones here. And when you send a cold email, you don't really want to use a company name like this because it just looks completely crazy. And you want to get rid of these. So again, I will name this as edited company name. And then what we will do is insert one right, and we will do formula. And let's see if now I can get this correct. So we will do get the value from edited company name, and Then, yeah, with company names, there are basically two issues. Again, sometimes when you get data from Apollo or LinkedIn, the company name could be, for some reason, just like 1 or 2 characters, or it will be super long, like these ones, which can be like over 50 characters. And I want to get rid of both of those scenarios. So the way I do it is like this. Yeah, so basically what this formula does is that if the value is less than 3 characters or more than 20 characters, it will replace it with value your company. So here you can see that these super long ones are now your company. And the reason why I have this value here is that typically sentences you are using company name or something along these lines. So came across company name, I noticed company name, saw company name. Would this be beneficial for company name? Could company name benefit this? Just a few examples. And then your company goes quite nice with those. So came across your company, I noticed your company, saw your company. Would this be beneficial for your company, etc.? So now it goes well with the cold email itself. So when you use a sentence like this, it will go naturally to there. So that's how I, get rid of those super long company names or super short company names. Then there are still stuff you can do to format this even more if you want. So if we rename this company to edit company 2, we can still format this a bit further if you want. So let's again insert one right and do formula. So with company names, for example, like this Kyle Kavan jewelry, you wouldn't necessarily say this in your cold email. So you would say just Kyle Kavan. Or let's see if there are other ones. Like Blue Turaco coffee. You would probably rather say just Blue Turaco and get rid of this coffee part. So for example, my company name is Iconi Digital. So if you would write me a cold email, you wouldn't say, let's say the initial input would be Iconi Digital Agency. You wouldn't want to write an email like this. You would find it to be Iconi Digital. So yeah, then if we insert one right and let's do a formula. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So now if I save this, now it's just Kyle Kavan. Then we can do the same for the coffee. So now I would just like to continue edit this. And put coffee there. Yeah, it works again. So, and now this would be the final company name. And basically, the way I do it when I'm working with my clients is that every time I enrich a list, I spend perhaps 3 to 5 minutes going through the company names and finding these type of things I want to get rid of. Then once you have done it a lot of times, then your lead list start to really become really clean. And it also does take that much of time, and you really need to do it for a few times to get rid of most of this stuff. And this way, your company name formatting works really well. And it is pretty easy to edit this. So you can either edit in here and generate a new formula, or you can just edit right there. So yeah, that's how I do it. Then I probably create a new view. So duplicate view. This would be export view. And then I would hide these. And then there would be the final first name, then the last name. Then I would hide this, hide this, hide this, hide this. And then there would be the final company name with the final first name. And then when you export this or push the smart lead, for example, straight from Clay, it works really well. So yeah, hope this was helpful. A bit of a longer video. I think there was some unnecessary steps there. But yeah, this is basically how I format first names, last names, company names automatically inside Clay.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.